All right, folks. So you know who we haven't been talking about too much lately? The Democrats. The Democrats. Who? The Democrats. That's right. Remember the party that used to have a lot of power and then they squandered it? Yeah, well, Chuck Schumer went on Meet the Press yesterday and was confronted with a video clip that showed him covering for Biden's decline, and then was asked, what do you have to say about that? And could Biden have served another 4 years if he had stayed in and won?
You a little bit of something you said last year. Take a look.
I talk to President Biden, regularly, sometimes several times in a week, or usually several times in a week. His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong.
Leader Schumer, what do you say to Americans who feel as though you and other top Democrats misled them about President Biden's mental acuity?
No. Look, we didn't, and let's look at President Biden. He's had an amazing record. Legislation.
Talk about a pivot. Talk about literally a two-word answer. So what do you say to people who say you misled them? We didn't. And now let's talk about what a great guy Joe Biden is.
Call that the old redirect.
Exactly. It's like he pays absolutely zero respect to the question whatsoever.
Look, we didn't, and let's look at President Biden. He's had an amazing record. The legislation we passed, one of the most significant.
A trans with a Schmendrick swinging it in a girl's bathroom.
Since Lyndon Johnson's Great Society, putting in 235 judges, a record, and he's a patriot. He's a great guy. And when he stepped down, he did it on his own because he thought it was better not only for the Democratic Party, for America. We should all salute him. We should all salute him.
Do you feel, as we have this conversation today, that President Biden could serve another 4 years had he stayed in the race and potentially won?
Well, I'm not going to speculate. As I said, I think his record is a stellar one, and he'll go down in history as a really outstanding president.
Notice no follow-up there. She doesn't grill him on that at all. Why would you pull the video if you're not going to grill? So you show the video of this guy saying he's good to go. Meanwhile, this whole time they're saying it's the end of democracy if we lose. Failure is not an option. We cannot blow this election. You show him video of him saying he's good to go. His brains leak out on the floor on a debate stage. He has to drop out, and you just let him get away with saying, well, we didn't mislead them. What are you talking? See, this is part of what has gotten some of the libs, at least, not red-pilled enough to join, circles like ours. But this is what has gotten them black-pilled to the point where they're not paying attention to this anymore.
Not enough to join our locals.
Right, not enough to join our locals. That's right. But they feel so betrayed by their leadership because look at this. Like if you're watching Meet the Press and you see that video and you know now that Trump is coming back and they ask, did you mislead them? Well, no, we didn't. We didn't. But let's talk about what a great guy Joe Biden is and how great he did. It's too much for them to take.
They suck so bad that they even lost their party of hall monitors trust. This is a crowd that you can literally tell fucking anything. And we've seen it. We've seen it. This is a crowd where Bill Clinton, who's never seen a woman he didn't want to assault, could be put up at the convention at the height of Me Too and have these people still thinking that this is the party that protects women. This is how manipulable these people are, if that's a word. I think I made that up. I think I just coined that.
It's not a bad word.
That's how easy these people are to manipulate, to put it another way.
Malleable they are, yes.
And how malleable they are. And you lost them. Me and Keaton were talking about this. I mean, basically the two tactics that they take to keep control of the population. You got a part of the population that are hall monitors. These are people who, when they were children, they really wanted the teacher's approval. Those people become Democrats. Then you got a part of the population that's more aggressive. They go ahead, they become soldiers, they become cops. For those people, you do the MAGA thing, you do the Republican thing, you do the bootstraps thing. In the end, it all brings you back to the same place. In the end, You can mess around with little cultural details that Klaus Schwab doesn't really give a shit about. It doesn't really affect his bottom line. It doesn't affect the agenda of the people who actually run things. That's it. These two parties are designed to capture the imaginations of those two personality types.
Exactly. Now, this is some more chutzpah from Chuck Schumer here. Chuck Schumer blames Democratic losses on average working families who didn't realize how much we had done and how much we care for them. Let's play this one.
Of good things, but all too often, Kristen, we talked about the mechanics of the legislation and the details of the legislation, and we really didn't show the kind of empathy and concern to average, or show enough of it to average working families who didn't realize how much we had done and how much we care for them. So what we're going to do is spend a lot of time talking to working families, showing them how much we care about them.
Okay. What you need to do...
I didn't see that part.
Yeah. What you need to do is retire. You're the guy. If you look at the 2016 campaign, I would say the top 5 most replayed clips from that whole year is you, one of the most top 5, you on MSNBC saying, for every blue-collar worker we lose, we're going to gain 2 PMC Republican women in the suburbs.
Yep.
So now you're saying, well, it's not that we don't care about them, it's that we just didn't communicate properly, which is that is Democrat excuse-making 101. It's always the messaging. Yep. Well, the messaging is wrong. It's not that they don't like us. It's just we don't know how to communicate.
Well, it's not
people.
It's not just that the messaging is wrong. It's with typical PMC condescension. We're too smart. We're too smart, and the people are too dumb.
Right. We don't know how to fake stupidity.
Yeah, we don't know how to fake stupidity the way the Republicans are able to just make these dumb appeals, and it appeals to those dumb people. We got to figure out how to dumb it down for the dummies.
Yeah. He was excited, as was his entire party, but Schumer was the guy who said the thing on TV that everybody knows now. He was thrilled at the prospect of getting all these blue collar workers out of the party.
That's been their project all along.
Exactly.
You know, maybe eventually I'll do a video essay about this because I've referenced it many times. You want to understand how the Democratic Party became what it became? Go back and watch All in the Family. All in the Family predicts this whole cultural moment. Mike and Gloria are never interrogating Archie about economics. They're always interrogating him about his language. They're always interrogating him about identity, what would come to be known as identity politics. Mike and Gloria were PMCs, right? He was a college professor, or he was studying to be one. That's what he becomes eventually on the show. They grew up. They took over the cultural institutions. They always saw workers as Archie Bunkers. They always hated them. They hated that New Deal union-based left. Bill Clinton was Mike and Gloria's ascension to power. And the first thing he did was sign NAFTA to break and destroy these people who they saw as irredeemably racist people. But this is the real point. Their interests were not aligned with the PMC's economic interests. And it was not aligned with the interests of the people the PMCs work for. So ultimately, they had to excise them to have this very wired, worker-oriented party whose leftism is completely rooted in that Mike and Gloria identity politics perspective and just class economics. No, you're all racist. You're all racist. That's it. That's when Schumer was celebrating. That's just an extension of Clintonian liberalism. Yes, of course they were celebrating. That's been their project for 40 years to get rid of workers.
Please clap.